everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastic today. And today we're going to be talking about something really, really interesting. Um, we're going to be talking about how we can help other people help us. And in the case of being inside a community or being inside a nonprofit, I think these are very similar, is that you have a lot of people that want to help you. You have a lot of people that want to help the cause, help bring the projects forward that we're working on, that want to be helpful within this community and essentially build more community feeling, feel more at home within this space, and feel like we've contributed something and helped it become bigger and better. So I realized that this is a problem that affects a lot of other organizations, not just communities, right? Nonprofits also have a problem that's, maybe a lot of volunteers believe in their cause and want to help them and move their cause forward, but they don't really give clear ways of how to help. Sometimes it's very difficult for me to understand how I can be helpful for my local, shelters or my local volunteer networks, youth centers, stuff like that. So today I wanted to show you quickly about how I would think about creating a structure like this for myself. How do I make a fun and interactive wiki that makes everybody within CoX3, so I'll be using our community as an example, but within CoX3, how do we make our community members find an easy way to be helpful, no matter how much time they have to spend, no matter what life stage they are, and however they want to help. So let's get started. All right, so as always, before we start a live stream, I like to talk about, the why, what's, and how's behind, this build. Why are we building this? What do we want to accomplish? And how are we going to get there? So why we want to build this, I mentioned this already a little bit, but essentially the idea is that we want to help members that want to help us. So volunteers, helpers, etc. Find ways that they can be helpful to the cause and ensure that they know what they can do at all times. So what are we going to build today? Well, a clear and concise wiki that gives our members what they need to know when they need to know it. That shares how this to help. And the final thing is how we're going to do it. Well, this is very simple, is we're going to have an onboarding journey for all of our community members when they, not onboarding, we're going to have a journey, a fun and engaging journey for all of our community members when they wish to spend some time to further a cause that they care about. So simple as that. So let's get started. Let's go into here and let's show you what I already have so far. So right now you can see that this is actually, let me show you first like how it looks currently and why we want to improve it, right? And I think that for a lot of you guys, it'll be very similar to you as well. So let me just resolve these comments so we can show you just from scratch. I'm sure a lot of your wiki pages, especially if you use Notion, looks a little like this, right? And it's like, hey, these are all the things you can do within this category, within this category, within this category, and so on and so forth. Right? And don't get me wrong, I think it's functional, right? It gets you everything that you need to see at one go. But one thing that I found that was very frustrating for me, at least, was if I'm coming in blind, it's not very obvious to me what I should start with first. Like, what's going to be the least barrier of entry for me to come in, read something, and feel useful? And if I click on something, am I going to end up going down a rabbit hole of information that I might not even be interested in the first place? And many of us are very busy people, right? And I understand that when someone wants to decide to help a cause out of their own, goodness of their hearts, it's very important to give them an opportunity to be helpful without having to having like a whole tedious process around it. Like the steps to becoming helpful should not involve being, you know, lost, confused, and frustrated with the experience before they get a chance to really engage. Like the hard part should be in the doing the work, not in the finding out what work should be done. So in that regards, I found it very important, at least, to fall at least within the same ideas that I had for our systems, which was, how do I get people started from, you know, a minute in? How can I make it so that there's the fewest amount of clicks to get through the system, to get through all this information and see what they really need to know? And if they want to add on more information, if they want to understand deeper ideas, then they can click and find that out. But that's only after they decide that they have already found what they wanted to do. So this is an idea of what I'm sharing. Of course, you might have different ideas, but I just wanted to show you a bit about how I would think about it, and then essentially build a little bit of this too with you guys, and show you perhaps give you some further ideas and further discussion that could be more helpful. Okay, so the whole idea is that I want, when someone first joins in, to first see a message of why they're here, of why we built this page, of what this page means to them. And again, it's very important, I think, for anybody to, when they first land onto something, to see exactly what I'm going to get and why I'm here, and just validate that. And if that message already doesn't resonate with them, they can just leave, right? This is the wrong page for them. They'll find another page that finds them the right information. And that's how you should be thinking about this. The next thing I wanted to show was, how can I be helpful? And I think a lot of organizations, they start by categorizing different ways that people can be helpful without thinking about how much time someone has to spend. And this is something that has been brought up to me, and I'd say I'm very thankful that, you know, a lot of our community members have, you know, demonstrated, like, hey, Conrad, we have time between our work. You know, when we take breaks during our work, maybe between 5, 10, maybe even 30 minutes. What can I do within that time to be helpful? And some people say, okay, I would like to spend an hour helping out daily, right? Or just an hour. I might have an hour of free time once in a while. And then some people say, I want to spend a whole day helping, right? 4 to 5 hours, maybe even longer. So these are all different ways that people want to be helpful, but they're a lot different when you start categorizing them in terms of time, because again, we value our time a lot. And when we want to help on a cause, it's more like, hey, I have X amount of time to help. What would be the best use of this resource, right? Of this time that I have. So that's how it first starts. Another thing is, I like to show something on the bottom, like quick resources. Like, these are the top 3 things that our community wants to access. Usually it's like, hey, these are the projects we're working on. These are the free community templates that you can get to make your life better. These are our shared masters and trackers, right? These are shared knowledge bases, knowledge hubs that are going to, you know, make ourselves learn faster, learn with each other, and essentially have a better way to connect with one another and build on each other's knowledge. So those are the different sections that are helpful for us. So let's now jump in and let's talk a bit about what you would expect in each section. This is where we can start building together. So opening up the how can I be helpful level 1, you can see we already have like a property that says time commitment 10 to 30 minutes. And of course, if you've ever used Notion is completely free tool, not completely free, sorry, but a free tool that can already get a lot with their free plan. Of course, you can feel free to upgrade if you have more team members and stuff like that. But what I want to show you actually is just the ways that Notion can work, which is you can add properties like this. You can add a new property and call it whatever you want, whether they be text properties or checkboxes or, you know, files, media, email, links, whatever you want. So it's really, really flexible. And within each of these pages, we can actually add a lot of content, and that's what I want to show you today. So when we come in and we start adding content, well, maybe, you know, between 10 to 30 minutes, this is where I start categorizing. This is where I start showing, like, hey, this is how much time I have to help. Now tell me how I can help. Now tell me which different avenues or channels of help can I go into. So I'm going to start categorizing this as, you know, knowledge in action. This is something specific to our community. It might not fit yours specifically, but I just wanted to show you this is how I'm thinking about it. So when we talk about knowledge, what I mean is I want to I want to help the community, help the family build up our knowledge, right? So this is anything that helps the family build up our what we know. The action, on the other hand, is I want to help the family take action on our learning. So this is about actionable insights, actionable intel, actionable steps that we can take based on what we've already learned. So these are both going hand in hand, obviously, right? And one of them, you can't have one without the other. You can't take action without learning something, and you can't really learn something without taking action. And otherwise, you're just learning for the sake of feeling like you learned something, but not actually taking any steps about it. So what I wanted to show you was like, okay, so for example, if you have 10 to 30 minutes and you want to help the family build up our knowledge, well, maybe one of your options that you want to help is, let's say add new entries into our shared masters and trackers. And of course, we have to explain that a little bit. So let's do that quickly. So I'm going to add a little description here. Let's say as a little description. We have a few shared resources that we make available for our family members, so that we can learn faster together and share our knowledge. Examples would be things like, for example, like a meditation tracker, right? So this is just, and I'll show you a bit about it as well. So for example, we have a guided meditation tracker that just shows a lot of meditations that we think are very useful. So look at all these, we think they're very useful. We also have something about self-affirmations, so we can see all the self-affirmations that we think are could be helpful to one another. So let's just make it bigger. See our self-affirmations, right? Depending on what situation you're in or what you're feeling today. So that's really cool. So basically, these are like meditation tracker, self-affirmations, right? We might even have like financial literacy, so things to do with building up our financial literacy. But basically, these are all things that essentially coming together, we can have better knowledge and better understanding than just doing it ourselves. So that's something we can do, right? Coming in and adding a few entries in their shared master trackers. At the moment, this looks quite ugly. Let's beautify it in a sec, but I just want to show you to start making me think about like what are the things that someone can do within like 10-30 minutes, right? Adding one entry to something, liking a Facebook page, liking a Twitter page, whatever it might be, right? So let me just add another one for fun, where it's like, liking and sharing our latest posts on social media, right? And then again, it's really important to have like really easy links for people to access stuff, so I want to also include that. But just really starting to think about it, right? Let's do one for action as well. So action one maybe is for us at least, check out the quest board and see if there is an ad hoc task available. So we have a quest board within our community that basically for all our projects, we share a few tasks that our community members can take on if they would choose to, right? And it helps them gain a little prestige, gain a little reputation in our community, and I think that's always really fun. So the next skill set I want to teach you is actually using tables within tables. And let me explain what that means. So this is actually a table. If you think about a database, right? This is actually a table. And what we're having is seeing it inside a gallery view. And within this table, within this entry, we can even nest another table in here. Now, what I want to do is not nest a table per se, but I want to nest a linked view to another table, because I don't want the original table to sit within this entry. I'll explain why later. But essentially what I want to do first is I'm going to go into my page for And I'm just going to go into here and I'm just going to open a new page. Let's go down. I'm just going to skip onboarding. So you can see I have a bunch of stuff from the tutorial island from our gamification templates. And essentially I'm just using that as a base to build this. So you can ignore that. There's also a lot of content here that you can ignore as well. I'm just going to clear it all out. But basically what I want to do is I want to add a new page here. And let's call this page, let's say what you can do. Let's make this a table. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the link, and maybe I can show you better if I drag this a little down. So we're going to copy the link from the URL, or also what you can do is click on this 6 dots, copy link. Then we go back to welcome to our family. We're going to paste the link into an empty block here. We're going to create a link database. Then we're going to make a gallery. So this is just a different way of visualizing your data, a gallery view. And then what we can do here is now we can also make this smaller, and we can show like there are different things that you can do, right? So what you can do, and again, let's open this as page so that it's easier to see everything. And we can see that what we have here is a few different items that we can start adding content into. So let's talk about it. Add new entries into our shared masters. And then what we can call this is, instead of a multi-select, we make this a select, and we say this is knowledge. And then what we can do, just delete a few of the other ones, clean it up. And then we can say check our quest logs, or check our quest board. This is action. Okay. And then what we can do is also like and share our latest social media posts. This is probably knowledge. Or maybe we can call this community, right? We're just coming in and sharing information. So community. So what we can then do is we can click these 3 dots, click on properties, and we can show tags, which makes it easier for us to kind of differentiate which stream it's all in here. And by the way, hi Krissa, hi Alyssa, glad to see you guys here. And I think it'll be really fun actually. So, you know, being able to chat together with our family members that are able to come in and talk a bit about, you know, what we also expect to see in each of these pages, to say, hey, how can it be helpful? And if I see level 1, which is between 20 to 30 minutes, you know, what really is that to be helpful with? So let's talk about this here. So I'm just going to paste this a little bit. And again, keeping in line with our ideas about putting information up front to really give you an idea of what you can do here. So putting all that information up front and then putting links in here, right? So now I'm going to start putting my links. So let's go into here and let's go into my old welcome to the family. And let's take now a linked view of this shared repositories, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a link database as well. And then I'm going to, perhaps for this one, make it a list view, just to show you there's different ways of seeing things. We're going to delete the table view, and we're just going to show this. And perhaps what we can do is, oops, let's also take away that T, resolve. So what we can do also is we can make a new property and show like what they can do. So let me explain what that means. So I'm going to go into one of them. Let's say it's just for a fun one. Let's say recipes box, okay? And let's add a new property, and then I'm going to add text, and I'm going to say how you can help. And we can say here, it's saying we can add your favorite recipes that you'd like to share with the family. Okay, just as an example, I go back, and then I can do is click the 3 dots, click properties, and then show how you can help. And then we can see immediately these are ways that I can help if I wanted to help add new entries into our shared, let's call them shared repositories perhaps. Repositories. Add content into our shared repositories. And for another one, let's do financial literacy. So for example, you know, being able to add different types of investments, different understandings of, you know, what we can do to be more financial literate. So for example, here is add more info, add best practices for investments, investment types are add investment types, or enrich investment types, information, and also add best practices. Okay, so you can see already, like, it's starting to shape up a little bit where I can start seeing like, hey, these are all the things that I can do to be helpful for each of these initiatives. And I can even start filtering. I can say, hey, I'm going to filter and say only for the ones that have information inside the how can I be helpful, then I want to show it. And already I'm seeing that maybe this is already cutting it off. It doesn't look so nice. What we can do is make a table instead. So we're going to make a table. We're going to add a filter, just quickly add a filter for how you can help. Again, it's not empty. And then what we can do is we can hide this and we can hide this. And now we can drag this open, make it big, and we can read all about it very easily. Okay. So then I'm going to delete this list view and only show this table view. So that's just an example of what we can do here and make that really easy. And what we can do is just make that more and more. So I'm going to delete all these other ones and just show you, like, for example, I think we should always have, so before I delete that completely, I want to show like a legend. So, hey, what does knowledge mean? What does action mean, right? So knowledge, action. So let's just like that. And then we can keep building. So I just wanted to show you, like, that's an idea, right, of how you can go. And let's just go back again to the main page and show you how that looks so far. So I come into here, right? Welcome to your family. I say I have 10 minutes to help. How can I be helpful? I open this up. I realize if I see knowledge, it means I'm building up knowledge. If I see action, I'm taking action on something and making something better. And of course, there's also a community one, which I'm thinking about. That's like, hey, how can I grow this community? How can I make this community better? So let me make that one more section here. I'm saying community. How can I make this space better? And how can I grow our family? Or I can say, I want to make this space better and grow our family. Okay, so you see that there's 3 different ways that we can help and 3 different ways to understand. And I think that actually looks a bit better. So let's do that. I'm going to add some dividers just to pretty it up. Go like this, dividers, and you can already see that you can start having a really nice layout for yourself. And of course, it's entirely up to you how you want to lay this out, right? I'm only showing you examples. You have your own unique organization that's going to need different, different understandings of what I'm sharing here, right? You have different things you want to tell your family and tell your community on how they can be helpful, but ideally this is a few ways that can show. Now, I'm going to, just build upon these for a little bit and just show you some of the other ideas I have for an hour, for 45 hours and stuff like that. And then I'll jump into the quick resources and show you like how that I would imagine that to work. Okay. So for level 2, let's say, let's talk a bit about how first we can also copy this layout and bring it over to another page. So I want to show you first like how I can only have this table show level 1 content, even if there's level 2 contents in there. So let's say I had so I'll take this step by step. I'll show you step by step. So let's first make a template here, because I want to show you first how making a template can already help you recreate these very, very easily. So I'm going to make a new template. I'm going to paste this. And then I'm going to drag this on the side here, just like did before, put this down, drag this to the side. And then what happens is that's created. Oops, sorry, I should just also add something. I say new, new helpful information. And then what we can do here is we can go to level 2 and you can see that there's a template here now. If I click on new helpful information, everything pops up really easily for me, and then I can start working on this. Now you can see that this is the same information that I have in level 1. That's not right. I want to see different information. So what can I do about that? Well, let's first add a new item that fits into this section where it says, hey, I have an hour to help. How can I help? Okay. So what we can do is we can add a new thing here, and let's call this one perhaps, let's see, contributes to our library content, right? It's something that someone can do. This is knowledge building. But what we want to do is we want to add one more property here that's going to tell us about which part of the level 1, level 2, level 3, or etc. it fits into. So I'm going to add a new property, and then I'm going to make this a relational property. And let's relate it over to the other table, which we can see is how can I be helpful? So let's go, how can I be helpful? And I believe this is going to this. So let's rename this database to be easier for us to understand. So let's call this one stream. And I'm just renaming that just to easily find that property. And I'll change the name back later. So let's call it stream. There we go. How can I be helpful? You see that that automatically makes that really easy for me to find. And we can see that this is perhaps the time commitment. And then we can now link it up so we can know that this is actually level 2, right? And then we can go back to our page here. And now we can add a filter onto this that says, hey, I only want to see where tags contains, or sorry, not tags, where time commitment contains level 2. So now I only see level 2 information. Pretty cool, right? I'm also going to add a sort since I'm here. I'm going to add a sort on the tags for ascending. We're going to see why that's important later. And then if I want to go back to here, I'm going to see that I also want to add a filter in the same way. I want to add a filter, and then I'm going to add a filter on the time commitment contains level 1. And then I'm going to add a sort on the tags. Now you see that nothing shows up. Well, that's because I haven't tagged the other ones yet. I haven't created the property for those. So for these ones need to be level 1. So let's show that it's level 1, copy, paste, and then I can see that these will all automatically show up now in the level 1. So let's see, simple as that. And then what we want to do here is we want to also show what you can do. It's going to be a property here. I'm going to hide this property so that you don't need to see it if you're not, you don't have to worry about it, right? So I come into here and I see, hey, this is exactly what you can do. You can either add content, check out our quest board, like and share our latest social media pages. Really cool stuff, right? Really easy, really clear. And one thing that I also recommend if you're the administrator of this is lock the page so that nobody else can accidentally edit it. And makes it really easy for you to, see, hey, this is just what I need to do next. I don't need to accidentally edit anything and, destroy anything. And not to say that people have that inclination, but just making it easier for you to, set out these ground rules. So the next thing I want to show you is, and by the way, I can rename this back to just the main thing because I don't need to find it anymore, right? But I want to show you, like, if I change this template as well, let's say I add the filters ahead of time now, and I say I want to add a filter for time commitment contains this page. So whenever I generate this page and I click on sort, I want it to sort by my tags, my tags, ascending. And then if I go to level 3 and I click new helpful information, everything shows up again. I just want to show you this. Everything shows up again. And then again, I can add a new item in here for level 3. I just want to show you. So join a collaborator. for a world boss. Again, this is our unique content, our unique way of calling something specific, but basically just showing you if I added this in here, it's going to automatically show the time commitment for level 3, and I don't need to do anything else to make sure that this stays inside this section. So that's pretty cool stuff. So I'm gonna hide this content, right? And then I'm going to go back into here, and then again, as I mentioned, I'm going to spend a little bit of time just building out some of this with our community, because I think it's important for us to actually flesh some things out. Again, at this time, if you're watching along and you're building your own wiki as well for your organization, feel free to also start building and just listen in the back of your mind. Awesome. So let's get started. So I think level 3, I think, let me just add a few things, because level 3 for me is easy to think about. So for example, help a family member with their templates, so toolbox templates, and then this is going to be action, I believe. And then let's go back, let's create another one quickly. Ooh, I know. So level 2 can be edit. So edit and review an article. Okay. And then we can go back into here, instead of just contribute to our library content, let's be a bit more specific. We can say submit your story. And then I'll have a few options of stories that they can submit, so don't worry about that. I'll add that in a second. Edit and review an article would be knowledge building. And then I think for level 3, we'll have a section here that probably talks about, let's see, yeah, submit your own articles to the library. So that's another thing that we can be helpful for. Adding to our academy, so we can see here and we can add something for 10 to 30 minutes. We can read, so let's go into here, read an academy document, and check for typos. That's another thing that someone can help with, I'm sure. And this one would be for, I think, our knowledge still. And then let's do another one over here, and we can say this is submit your own articles, that's knowledge. And you can see once we add a knowledge, it automatically sorts up to the top. So that's pretty cool stuff. We can also say right here, create your own template and share. Create and share your own template. Okay, that's another thing. This is action orientated. And then level 2 might be, oh, you know, if you have 10 minutes, I think definitely one thing is to comment on an introduction. Welcome a new family member. And then we can give instructions on how to go and do that. So let me show that in a second. So welcome a new family member. That's another thing that they can do. Here we can also do this, submit template improvements. So we can have a form here that captures template improvements that they can submit. And then let's see. I think that's about it. I want to just stick with that for a second because we already have a lot of information, and I just want to show you, for example, excuse me, let's say welcome a new family member. Okay, when we first embark on this adventure to get of making work fun and living a meaningful, intentional life, we're all looking for others to be on this journey together with us. help us in welcoming our latest family members, our newest family members. Help us in making our newest family members feel at home, right? So we can give steps, right? And I think it's really important to give actionable steps for someone to say like, hey, step 1, step 2, step 3. Like, it makes it really clear for us that we don't have to think too hard about, especially if I have 10 minutes to spend, right? 10 minutes to spend. What can I do immediately that's going to provide value to this community, that's going to make this community grow faster and faster? So step 1 is check out the introductions tab in Guilded. So that's our community space, So I'm going to obviously put a link in here. Let's go into here, let's get a link. So I'm going to just drag it, copy link to this, link to a web page. And then of course I might also just show like where it is. So I'm going to take a quick screenshot on my other screen and just show you that, hey, it's actually in this section right here. So let's paste that now. Perfect. And then the second thing to do is browse for introductions that you have not read yet. And then we can see that inside, oh, whoops, that's the wrong page. I actually meant introductions here. So I screenshotted the wrong thing. Let me just do that again. So that's screenshot under channels. Perfect. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to replace this and make sure that the links are proper. So I'm going to copy the link. Let's paste the link on there and update itself. So we want to browse for introductions that we have not read yet. So let me just show a snippet. And again, take another snippet here. So let's put this on this side. Screenshot. And then I'm just going to take this, let's copy this, and then let's paste. This will be indicated if they have an unread icon on the left of the entry. Be sure to also prioritize any introductions that don't have a comment yet. And then the third thing to do, let's show you the third thing to do, would be to go in and then make a comment, right? So if we open up something and then we go to the bottom of the page, so do this, open up the introduction, scroll to the bottom of the page, and then write a reply. And then we're gonna have one bonus item to do. Bonus, add a reaction to the introduction. And then we can just show add a reaction. And now I'll paste it right here. So you can see already, right? It becomes really clear on exactly how you can make it so that someone that comes in directly into the community or into your nonprofit or whatever your organization is, and already see immediately what someone can do to help. So let's again go through from the beginning. I'm here, I've landed here. I know that this is a place that I can find out how I can be helpful. I have 10 minutes to spend. I'm going to open this up, and then I'm going to see that there's a bunch of stuff that I can do. Again, I will fill all this out later on, but I just wanted to show you the structure of it and the skeleton of how this might work. I can open up this welcome a new family member. What does this mean? Okay, this is the first thing I'll do. This is the second thing I'll do, the third thing I'll do, and this is my bonus. And I know that at the end of all this will only take me at least at max. So actually let me make one more thing. I'm going to make a roll up. So I'm going to say time commitment. Let's rename this one. We should call this one actually, call it level, and we call this time commitment. And why this one's important is because we're going to roll up the information about the time commitment. We're going to hide this property. Always hide. So basically now I come into here and I'll know that, hey, really the max this will take me is 10 to 30 minutes. I might even make this 5 to 10. Let's make it 5 to 10 minutes instead of so long. So this is 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes. And then this one is going to be 30 to an hour. 30 minutes to 1 hour. And then we can have this. And you can see, again, just going back into this, welcome new family member. I see exactly what I can do. And then it's really clear for me. And then I can move on and go back to what I need to get done for myself for the rest of the day. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that process. And like I mentioned, the last thing to show you guys is basically how to handle the quick resources and also how to handle the structure of this page. So you'll notice that previously I had some things on the bottom here. And again, I can delete these so you don't feel confused. So I'm just going to delete that. But basically what I have down here is I'm going to have another option for you to either go to a quick resource or skip the onboarding, which is not recommended because that means they'll land onto a page that looks kind of like this, right? That you might not understand, you might not care about right now, right? So I'm giving them an option to see, hey, this is how I would recommend you go through our resources and find ways to be helpful. But if you really want to, you can skip everything and go straight there. Another thing to mention is, well, what if I have something that's really important to me right now that I want to get to? Let's say I really want to get to our projects or our world process, is what we call them. You know, let's change the world together. So what I'm going to do is within this master page, right? I'm going to find this, I'm going to copy this link, okay? And then go back and then make sure that I highlight this, I paste it, and you can see that once I click our projects from now on, I'll get redirected here and I can see everything that we're working on very easily. So that's pretty cool. That's really something that you can do. Same thing with templates, same thing with shared masters, and you can just go ahead and be able to connect everything you need to connect and really see that all play out. And for this page right here, you can see that if I click on this, it goes to a page that says thank you. Again, this is just a very similar page as the welcome to the family. I'm just going to rebuild this in a vertical structure so that, again, not everything's so messy. I do just want to have everything really, really clear here. So if I were to build it just to show you, so let's go ahead and do this. I want to go ahead and go to welcome to the family. I'm just going to take these sections because I've already created them. So I might as well just borrow. So I'm going to say knowledge, action, community, and then I'm going to call this one backend. The backend basically is just going to show me like all the different databases I have that are powering my backend. So what you can do is something that's going to power it. I also have, let's see, how can be helpful is the master data table, so I don't need to worry about that. Let's go here, let's do a divider as I usually would. And then, yeah, perfect. So under knowledge, under action, under community, let's start building those up. Actually, I might also want to put in our shared repositories in the backend so I don't have to show everything. So let's, okay, well, we'll think about it. Let's go ahead and just move this first. So I'm going to move this page over to thank you. So move, and I have a few thank you pages. So let me just call this one again, stream thank you. So I'm going to move to stream. Thank you. And let's see where that goes. Perfect. Let's move that over here. And then I can see that it's probably at the bottom. So let's go ahead and drag this up right here so we can see all these shared repositories. One thing that you can do as well, again, you can see I have a lot of like, I have a template down here just because it's stuff that I thought was helpful. But what we can do here is we can also add like little information blurbs, and that's way too big, but little information blurbs that again make it really helpful, and people can feel like they're involved in the journey. So let's go into here, and then let's also add things like, you know, welcome, we're so to have you on board. You can add a little information here, whatever you like. So I'm just going to do something like this. And then what we can do is we have knowledge, action, community, as mentioned. So what we can do is have all those specific things that we think our community members should be able to find within our space here. Make it really easy for them to find. So actually, I might not even have this knowledge, action, community. Maybe I just show like, I'm going to make a button. So let's make a call out back to how can I help? And then I'm just going to make this a arrow button. So let me go to my other page and find an arrow button easily. So let's go into here. Just gonna find a quick page for us to go ahead and do that. Okay, great. So I have this page here that I can copy, or this call out. Again, I'm just going to rename this. How can I be helpful? And then this will go back to that main page, the first page I was showing you, because this will help them find out where they can go back and forth, right? So you can go back. How can be helpful is I can go back to that. I'm wondering if there's a forward action. I don't think there's a forward action. It's just how can I be helpful is going to go back there. Shared repository is something that you know, everyone really wants to see. Another page that would be very useful here would be so the backend is where I'm going to put everything. So let's move everything over. So let's move the let's change the world is something I want to move. I want to move language practice, I'm sure. I want to also move things like our community templates, our community laboratory. Those are really good. Content submissions, I think that's going to be really good as well. Let's move that over. Community Dropbox. So let's move all these things in. So let's go ahead and move to, we haven't renamed it again. So let's just add stream to this. So let's go to the stream, and then let's move to, and then we can say stream, just like so. Dean, I agree. It's always nice to have something cute and something that you can essentially take with you and make it like really exciting and engaging. So yeah, so let me take away the stream thing now, and then let's go up to the bottom here again, and then let's move everything up. Actually, let's take this as well. So let's take this section also, and then we can say keep learning. Oops, I didn't take all of it. I need to take these ones as well. So keep learning. So I might have these like this at the bottom of the page. What I'm going to do is in the back end, I'm going to have more items like this. So you can see these are all the things that I have. So all the databases available inside this collaborative workspace. And then you can see that it becomes really, really clear that these are all the things that, okay, let's also make this a star. what can I do? Make that a bit more clear. Perfect. So you can see already. So let's just walk you through again one more time how this whole thing works. So I come into here, again, lock this page if you don't want anyone to access it and edit by accident. So I can see welcome, this is how can I be helpful. I can also find quick resources if I want to. And lastly, I can skip the onboarding if I can just go straight into the thank you. And then I can see all these different shared repositories that immediately provide me value, right? I can also find all the backend stuff if I want to. I can keep learning. But basically, it makes it really, really easy for me now to come on, find what I need to find out how it can be helpful, build up community feeling. I think that's really important, right? Being able to feel like I'm part of something bigger, feel like I belong and feel like I'm contributing to others, and then hopefully find easier and easier ways to support, which helps both the organization, in this case a community, or in your case maybe a nonprofit if that's what you're watching this video to build. And of course it also helps the volunteers find out more ways that they can assist. So that's it from me for now. Because this is a very instructive live stream, I wanted to just really talk through exactly how everything works, go through step by step. If you want to learn more about how our community functions, feel free to join us. We're over at co-x3.com. Links in the description. And if you have more questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below, and also give us a like and subscribe if you like this content. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. We'll be building this out in our community, but for now, take care. Bye-bye.